Okay, let's settle this protein powder debate once and for all. And I'm talking about the big one. Whey versus plant-based proteins. And I mean everything. We are going deep today, folks. I'm talking absorption rates, amino acid profiles, taste and texture, digestibility and absorption, prices, allergens, literally every aspect you could possibly think of. And by the end of this video, you are going to know what protein is right for you, your goals, and your lifestyle. But before we dive right into it, let me be clear. I've tried probably over 20 different protein powders, some amazing, some bad. So I'm talking from experience as well as science here, not just reading off some marketing material. So let's get right into it. First up, let's talk about what really matters, the amino acid profiles. This is where whey protein really flexes its muscles, no pun intended. Whey is what we call a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids that your body cannot make on its own. Not only does it have them all, but it also has them all in the exact ratios that your body needs for muscle protein synthesis, for muscle building process. The biggest R here is leucine. That is the amino acid that basically tells your muscles, hey, it is time to grow, buddy. Whey typically contains about 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine per 25 gram serving. Now, plant-based proteins, most single-source plant proteins like just pea protein or just rice protein are incomplete, meaning they are usually low in one or more essential amino acids. But here's the thing though, most quality plant-based protein powders are not one ingredient anymore. They are blends. Pea protein plus rice protein plus hemp protein plus whatever else. When you combine them all, you can create a complete amino acid profile that rivals whey protein. The leucine content is usually lower though, typically around 1.8 to 2.2 grams per serving. Still decent, but not quite as high as whey. Now let's talk about how fast these proteins actually get into your system. That is absorption rate. Whey protein is really fast. It gets absorbed and into your bloodstream within about 30 to 60 minutes. Plant-based proteins get the job done, but they take their time. Most plant proteins are absorbed more slowly, around 1 to 3 hours. So some people will see this as disadvantage, but honestly, it can be a good thing for keeping you full longer. But keep in mind, this actually varies depending on the type of whey protein you use, such as whey isolate, whey concentrate, or hydrolyzed protein. There's going to be a video about this one too, but first, let me know if you are interested in the comments below. Now, in terms of digestion, whey scores a perfect 100 on something called the Protein Digestibility Corrected Amino Acid Score. Basically, your body can use pretty much all of it. Now, based on a 2020 review from Herzler et al., demonstrated that plant proteins vary in nutritional quality, so individuals who prioritize them over animal proteins should consider these differences when planning a balanced diet. Here, the digestibility can vary a lot depending on the source. Pea protein scores around 82, hemp protein is around 66, rice protein is 50 to 60. Still good, but not as efficient as whey protein, to be honest. And here's where plant-based proteins sometimes win: digestive comfort. Now, if you have a sensitive stomach or you are lactose intolerant, whey protein can actually cause bloating, gas, and digestive issues, unless you are using lactose-free easy whey protein. Okay, let's be real about the taste and texture. Because you can have the best protein in the world, but if it tastes like dirt, you cannot stick to it, right? Whey protein generally has a smoother, creamier texture. It mixes well with liquids, doesn't get that kind of chalky, and the flavors are usually pretty spot on. It's been around longer, so companies have actually managed to perfect the flavoring. Plant-based, on the flip side, they have come a long way, but they can still be hit or miss. The texture tends to be a bit grittier or chalkier, especially if you are just mixing with water. They are best when blending them with frozen fruit or mix them into smoothies rather than just shaking with water. Some of them have this earthy or beany aftertaste. Now, with that being said, you might have to try a few different brands in order for you to find the one that you actually enjoy or like. Now let's talk money, because your wallet definitely has a vote in this decision, bro. Generally speaking, whey protein is cheaper, a lot cheaper. You can get decent whey protein for about $1 per serving. Good quality stuff might run you about $1.5 to $2 per serving. Plant-based proteins typically cost more, usually around $1.5 to $3 per serving, sometimes even more for the premium blends. However, prices can vary significantly depending on the brand, specific ingredients, and so many other factors. And the main reason that plant-based proteins are way more expensive is simply because the processing is more complex. Plus, the plant protein market is still smaller. There is less competition driving the prices down. And the prices are actually coming down as the plant source protein is becoming more popular. Now, allergies and diet restriction. This is a big one. And honestly, it could be the deciding factor for a lot of people. Now, whey contains lactose. It is usually a small amount, but whey isolate usually contains less lactose than concentrate. But 90% of the time or 99% of the time, whey isolate has zero lactose, like none. Because if you are lactose intolerant, even a small amount can cause issues. Whey is also obviously not suitable for vegans or people who avoid dairy for other reasons. Plant-based proteins can have their own allergen issues though. Now, pea protein is generally hypoallergenic, but some protein blends might contain soy, which is a common allergen, right? Hemp is usually fine unless you have a specific hemp allergy. The good news is there are so many plant protein options now. Pea, rice, hemp, even algae protein. So in case you are allergic to one, there are plenty of other alternatives. Now for the big question, which one is actually better for building muscle and performance? A 2021 systematic review and meta-analysis from Nutrient by Lim et al. Shows that both can be effective for muscle protein synthesis and building lean muscle mass. But there was a positive effect of animal protein on the percentage of lean muscle mass. In conclusion, animal protein tends to be more beneficial for lean mass than plant protein, especially in younger adults. Whey does have a slight edge in some studies. That is probably due to its higher leucine content. Now, if you are a competitive athlete or bodybuilder and trying to squeeze out every advantage, whey could give you a slight edge. Because the most important factors are getting enough total protein, around 0.8 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. 2. Timing it reasonably well around your workout, and being consistent with it. Which type of protein powder you choose is way less important than actually using it consistently, bro. And here are a few other things worth mentioning. First, storage and shelf life. Whey generally lasts longer and is less sensitive to heat and humidity. Plant proteins can sometimes get clumpy or go rancid faster, especially the ones with higher fat content like hemp. Secondly, mixing and preparation. Whey typically mixes better with just a shaker bottle full of water. Plant proteins often benefit more from a blender, especially if you want a really smooth consistency with some frozen fruits. Lastly, whey protein offers quicker, short-term satiety, while plant proteins often keep you full longer due to their slower digestion and sometimes higher fiber content. Now, after breaking down literally every single aspect you could think of, the question is, which one should I choose? The answer is, it depends. Choose whey if you want the most cost-effective option, you have no dairy sensitivities, you prioritize taste and texture, and you want the fastest absorption. Choose plant-based if you are vegan, lactose intolerant, or you prefer slower and more sustained protein release. So both of them can actually help you reach your goals. And I have used both of them and honestly didn't notice any difference. What matters most is not the type of protein. It is hitting your daily protein goals consistently, training hard, and having adequate recovery. Those are the most important things to keep in mind, bro. And if this breakdown was actually helpful, please don't forget to smash that like button and let me know in the comments, are you plant team or whey team? And if you want more in-depth content about nutrition, please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care everybody. Bye bye.